to enter a world of true crime. From cold cases to serial killers, missing persons, and more.
100% he did this.
I'd go off in the fantasy world.
How much more lucky can you get that you're not on death row?
You want to know what we know.
My name is Jay. This is Guilty of Crime.
Hello, everybody. As you can see, it's Jay with Guilty of Crime, and I'm back to talk about the Madeline Soto case. So, I woke up this morning and, hey, Carly, good to see you again. I woke up this morning and breaking news. So, I see Stephan Sterns on breaking news, and I was super heated and excited at the same time, because I thought he had gotten arrested on charges of murder. It wasn't charges of murder, but he did get 60 counts, 60 new files against him, which means he's going to be held in there for quite some time. Not only that, they are going to come forward with murder charges. And, we all know that he's going to be caught with murder charges at some point, because they have enough evidence, and behind the scenes the detectives are talking a little bit, and since they are talking a little bit, we kind of hear things here and there, and I watch everything. I consume all true crime, so there's a lot of talk, different stations that I watch, different things that I'm doing, and people that I talk to. So, yes, just caught the very beginning. Sadie's mama, Carly. I don't know how long we'll be on here, as long as we can talk about this and go over some things. I got a good show for you today. Now, it's not just a show. This is my passion. All day this has been bothering me, and I've been at work, but at the same time I've been listening to this case and going over what I'm going to do. And I don't write a script for things like this when I know what I want to say. One of my favorite people out there that just actually started podcasting was and is Vinnie Politans. Now, Vinnie Politans gets heated like I do, very, very heated, because he is really against crime. He used to be a lawyer. Now we know who he is. He's a newscaster with what he's affiliated with. I don't know. It's not Crime Nation. He's affiliated with one of my favorite stations that I'm blanking out on, but we know who that is. And yes, I can't believe that we're talking about Stephan Sterns. I am correcting myself right now. In one of my episodes, the police or somebody in the newscasting had debunked the fact that he worked at Disneyland. And I'm going to tell you why. There's a lot of people. Yes, Vinnie Politans, Court TV. He's affiliated with Court TV, which is one of my absolute favorite shows. And I'll tell you, I am with Court TV from day one. I have been watching Court TV before it was the Court TV that many people know. It was the Court TV that had the same show over and over. I believe it had Forensic Files on it, and you'd watch the same episodes over and over because they would just replay them all day and all night. So I've been watching and consuming and studying true crime for a long time, and I'd love to go to these court cases. But this is why I'm so passionate and fired up about this case, because Stephan Sterns is just a monster. And at this point, even with the charges that he's got now, he will go to jail I'm sure he will go to jail for life. And he's in that ballpark of Keegan Kline, but even worse. Keegan Kline he's not involved in murder that we know of, but Stephan Sterns is, and he hasn't been charged for it. So let's watch this. This is what I woke up to. This is what I've been thinking about all day, and it's all consuming because, It's just so heartbreaking. And we have to remember why we're here doing this. This is why I'm doing this. This is why I'm watching this. And sometimes I'm watching other channels and I start laughing at other things. I start laughing at something, or we'll start making jokes, but really it's for the victims to bring justice and awareness. Okay. Let's watch this
After Madeline
together.
Soto was found dead in rural Osceola County, her mother's boyfriend and the main suspect in her death was in court. Stephan Sterns faces charges of sexual battery and possession of child sexual abuse material. West 2's Haley Crumblehome is live tonight at the Osceola County Jail, where Sterns is now being held. And Haley, you did get the chance to speak with Kissimmee Police about what comes next.
So they tell me that more charges could be coming, but right now they're focusing on the case at hand and working on investigating all possible angles.
Stephan Sterns, or Stephan?
Stephan Sterns had his initial appearance in court Saturday. He never spoke, but his attorney did.
He also
Your
didn't
Honor, at
show
this
up.
time, I am going to waive Mr. Sterns' appearance. I'm also going to waive the reading of these charges. Mr. Sterns is aware of what he's been arrested for.
Though Sterns is a prime suspect in Madeline Soto's death, the charges he faced Saturday came after deputies found what they called disturbing images on Sterns' phone. The charges include sexual battery and possession of child sexual abuse material.
Sir, you got zero bond.
The Kissimmee Police Department is now leading the investigation into what happened to Madeline. They said Saturday the department is conducting follow-ups and collecting evidence and working to prepare a solid case. They said Sterns could be facing additional charges in the future, but only after a thorough investigation.
It's still denial. It's absolute denial. You don't want to believe this happened to a little kid.
That's how those gathered to remember Madeline felt Friday night, standing outside of the school she never made it to Monday, just hours after her body had been found.
Disbelief and definitely overwhelming. I think that's pretty much what we've all gone through. I can only imagine what her immediate family has gone through.
For other students at Hunters Creek Middle, it's a mess of emotions.
Confused, sad, angry at the person who did that.
Still trying to work through a situation no one could understand.
I don't know how to explain it. I just feel horrible. It's horrible. Like, who in their right mind would do that to a little girl?
Now, though Madeline has been found, the Kissimmee Police Department is asking anyone with information that could assist them as they're investigating this case to come forward. Live in Osceola County, Haley.
All right. So we're done with, oh, let's watch this real quick. It's almost done. Oh, it's okay. We're not gonna, I stopped that one. It's all right. So listen here. Hello, Jackie and Sadie's mama and Carly and everybody that's here. I wanted to show that just so you could see what the very beginning, where this started. They hadn't dug in yet. And this is how careful the police are being. So when they did charge him, they collected everything from him. They collected his computers, any devices that he had, anything that they could possibly get from him to connect him with the murder. However, everybody, they've gone through as much as they can, and these are the new charges that have come to light. And that was what was breaking this morning. So here you go. Let's watch this, and then I'm going to read it to you. So trigger warning to everybody. This is not easy. If you have tissue and you think you're going to cry, there's a lot of people that are heartbroken, upset. They don't like to hear these words. I don't either, and I'm heartbroken, but I'm really fired up about this, and I'm really happy that they're moving slowly and charging him as he should be. So here we go. Here's what happened this morning. Now you know we're caught up.
And Stephan Sterns. He is the lead suspect in the death of 13-year-old Madeline Soto, whose body was found earlier this month. Meredith McDonough is here to explain that these new charges are not connected to Madeline's murder.
Sheldon, not murder, but still a total of 60 new charges have been filed against Sterns in connection with the death of Madeline Soto, who was found dead after being reported missing. Now, the new charges include 8 counts of sexual battery on a child under the age of 12, 5 counts of sexual battery with a child 12 to 18 years old, and then 7 counts of lewd and lascivious molestation, and 40 counts of unlawful possession of materials depicting sexual performance by a child. Now, shortly after Madeline Soto's disappearance, several disturbing images and videos were found on Stephan Sterns' phone. He was then arrested on sexual battery charges along with possession of child sexual abuse material. According to officials, further investigation then revealed more images and videos depicting criminal acts, and this is from where the new charges stem. According to those documents obtained by West 2 News, Sterns was abusing Madeline for nearly 2 years. Now, Madeline was missing for nearly a week before her body was found in a wooded area in St. Cloud. Now, again, Sterns is a suspect in her death, but not currently charged with her murder. We'll continue to follow this breaking update. Sheldon, back to you.
All right, everybody. So you saw that, and we'll talk about it for just a second. I'm going to make sure that you guys hit that like button, share, subscribe, hit the notifications so that you can see when things are coming up. I'm going to put myself back on here, and then I will get to the next topic, and I will go ahead and actually read what came from the Kissimmee, Florida from the charges, the actual charges. It's a hard one. Again, this whole case and what we're talking about now, everything we're going to listen to is going to be heartbreaking, trigger warning to everybody. And I put up the exactly 100% J, because this is just me being passionate about what's happening in this case. And these charges are not necessarily, and they're not related to her death, but they're not necessarily related to Madeline Soto. So I want you all to know that this man is a monster. He's evil. He's the devil, whatever you want to call him. To me, I can call him a pedophile, whatever I want to call him. I'm going to call him. He's a murderer. Hasn't been charged. He's a rapist. I'm going to say all the things that I feel, because that's how I feel about him. And any of those people that want to be normalized are not normalized in my book. I keep hearing on these news stations and certain channels talking about pedophiles, because there's so many of them. Everybody, please know that I'm going to read this, and then we're going to play more videos, but you have to hear me out. Please do not ever normalize this. This will never be normalized in my book. Now, I am in the LGBT community, LGBT plus, whatever. I don't even know the terms these days. It's LGBTQIA plus. Okay. I don't know any of those terms. I just label myself as being gay. I'm a woman married to a woman, and a P for pedophile does not belong in the LGBTQ whatever. Okay. I respect everybody as a person, but we will never, and I will never normalize pedophiles, saying that they should be normalized and put into that category. And I actually think that's an insult. That is an insult to me as a person, because that is not a choice. That is not a choice. They have a choice to not do that. Now, people can say that there's a choice not to be with a woman. No, trust me, there's not. If you knew me when I was younger, I only dated males, and they were the most good-looking males. I had the best relationship with them, and there just wasn't that connection there that I just couldn't find it. It's just not there. I absolutely know that I am the way I am, and that's just who I am. But I do not hurt or harm anybody, so never associate me. And if you do, you'll get kicked off my channel. Or if you have that, you think pedophiles should be added to the LGBTQ, get out of here. I don't want to hear it. I'm hearing it too much, and that's never going to be okay. So I'm going to pull up these charges. I'm off my soapbox, but it is my channel, and I can say that, and I have to say that because I keep hearing it, and I'm like, no, absolutely not. So I'm going to share this, and I'm going to read it with you all, and then we're going to listen to who I woke up to today talking about this. What happened to my screen here? So we're going to share the Kissimmee files, Kissimmee, Florida. Now, I don't know the laws there, everybody. I'm in California, and in California, it's definitely not a death penalty case. When it comes to that, we're very liberal over here, and it doesn't mean that I am, because you all see me with my guns, and I'm all about a whole bunch of I'm like in the middle. I'm not going to label myself as anything because I'm totally into protection, bearing arms. I've never been arrested before. As a matter of fact, I get called to jury duty every 2 years. They want me there. I just can't afford to be there, y'all. So like, subscribe, share. Let's get me monetized so we can get this channel funded and I can be out there fighting justice, doing searches, going to court trials. I would love to be in them. Okay, let's read these charges. And again, trigger warning. I'm going to read this with you. I'm going to try to zoom in. Thank you, Carly, for sending me these. I was looking for them. And right when I was looking for them, the great, lovely Carly sent them to me. Okay, here we go. Trigger warning. So, Kissimmee. I don't know any about that city, but I know it's in Florida, 1883. 60 new charges filed against Stephan Sterns. City of Kissimmee, Florida, sent this bulletin at 3/12/2024, 11:16 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Okay. Now I'm 3 hours behind that. So when I woke up and got on my phone, this was what I heard. I'm going to just go through it all and not talk. For immediate release, release date March 12th. Release number PNR 24 004. Case number 24001-896. Media contact James Napier, KPDPIO at kissimmee.gov. 407.58.321.64.6081. Now I'm reading this information because everything's important to me on this document. Absolutely everything. These people crossed their T's and dotted the I's. And that's what you have to do in order to get these guys locked up. Okay. And that's why it takes so long. If the mom does have any information, they're going to find it on her phone or her electronics or any kind of file or anything that she has anywhere, whether it's a diary or whether it's on some kind of cloud. So when we're sitting there saying, why has she not been charged? First of all, we don't actually know that she knows. I know something's wrong with her. Her behavior's off. I do personally think that there was something that was going on between the two and between the three. And I'll get into that after. I'll tell you exactly now what I think happened. Okay. 60 new charges filed against Stephan Sterns, Kissimmee, Florida. The state attorney's office for the 9th Judicial Court has filed 60 new criminal charges against Stephan Sterns. Date of birth, 4/25/1986. The man associated with Madeline Soto case. Shortly after Madeline Soto's disappearance, several disturbing images and photos were found on Stephan Sterns' phone. The City of Kissimmee Police Department quickly arrested Sterns, who remains in custody with Osceola County Department of Corrections on no bond. I think it's Osceola. It is. I'm not from Florida. Osceola County Department of Corrections on no bond. The investigation revealed more images and videos depicting criminal acts. The Kissimmee Police Department provided this evidence to the state attorney's office, which found cause to file the following charges: 8 counts of sexual battery on a child under 12, 5 counts of sexual battery with a child 12 to 18, 7 counts of lewd and lascivious molestation, 40 counts of unlawful possession of materials depicting sexual performance by a child, 10 or more images. We appreciate the efforts of our partners in the state attorney's office in assisting with seeking justice for Madeline, says Kissimmee Chief of Police Betty Holland. With this being a complex case with many facets, our work is not done, and we are continuing our investigation into the timeline leading up to Madeline's death. To learn more, City of Kissimmee Police Department, visit kissimmee.gov/police department. Now, everybody, they've got Facebook, Instagram, X. They've got all of this stuff. subscribe to them. If you have any other details, there are so many people out there right now that are coming forward in this case right now that are saying they knew Stephan and they have a lot of stories about him. So if there's anybody that wants to come forward that does have a story about him, please, 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 please come forward. I'm going to go down here again to this and just put the, let's see, is there contact information? They're the Kissimmee, Florida Police Department. So if anybody has anything, you can go on their social media, you could subscribe to them, you can contact them directly, you can see well, that's the media contact, but anything, if you see something, say something, do something. So I just got really heated. I read through that and you know, they're looking into these charges right now, and I'm going to give you my input after listening to and consuming a lot of things, listening to detectives. Now, I like this comment here that says there's no wiggle room for any appeals. Now, this is the story of the day. This is for every case that we have. Everybody that's listening, there's not a lot of people on here right now, but I have a feeling we're going to have a good rewatch crew because, well, we've gained a lot of traction. I have YouTubers that are messaging me to collaborate with them, and my channel is quickly growing. I'm trying to tell things how they are and be passionate about it. So I want you to know when people are in the comments or waiting for somebody to get arrested, we can't go off of body language and we can't go off of what we know. What we can only go off of the evidence that we have. Okay, so everybody may have evidence. If you do, say something, do something. Don't let this happen again. If you're a mom, pay attention to your daughter. But that's not what I think was the case. I do not think, and this is my opinion, we'll see what happens when it comes in. I don't think the real story is ever going to come out, everybody. If the mom, Jen Soto, does happen to get arrested next week or the week after, or she never does, she's not going to tell this story of what I'm telling you I think may have happened, but I do think that she absolutely was in some sort of weird, odd triangle. And she knew that her daughter was being sexually assaulted. And I don't know if she really felt that it was an assault more than letting the man that she loves. He didn't start abusing her till she was 9. So there was some sort of weird like triangle going on in this situation. And now this is coming from police detectives that are speculating on what the mom's role is. My Yorkie here is back here crying. So we love dogs, everybody. And this is my life. So let me grab him. We can say hi to the old Yorkie that can't see anymore, and I don't know what he wants. So, all right. So I got that part out of the way with the mom. I don't know what she's going to be arrested for. But I do think that she knows something and that she has. I just found out today that they actually Stephan Sterns and Jen Soto, they filed for marriage way back when Maddie was little. I don't know if they confirmed how many years it was. And you're right. Apparently, Maddie told friends, and they're going to come forward. I think that somebody has some information on a channel. I was hearing earlier that one of the kids was talking, but they can't use kids. So here's what I think happened. As far as Jen, I think she definitely knew there was some kind of triangle going on. She has been on and off with Stephan Sterns since Madeline was about 2. Okay, so they filed for a marriage license or something. So I don't know if Jen was married before, but her and Stephan filed for a marriage license, and the reason she says partner and they say ex and or ex-girlfriend and girlfriend, because it was really undefined. They were off and on, and so that was going on for years. Stephan's been grooming her, and that's the term I will use, is grooming, because I think pedophiles do groom these children, and as the years go, they do things to to get them closer and closer. And she hit a certain age and he started being intimate with her. Now, what I think that happened, and a police officer said this, they told her mom, what am I missing? They told friends. Yeah, I don't know if they told her. And if they did tell her, yeah, if they did talk to her mom, this is what I'm telling you, is that the mom knew about it. And there was some situation with her. There was this three-way situation of jealousy and why they kept breaking up. Now we know also a friend came forward and said that that Stephan said that he was broken up with Jen, but he had a spicy little Latina. Somebody was trying to tell me something about Latina and being Hispanic, but and I made a comment on it. I don't know why people get so into the nitty gritty, but Hispanic covers Latin America, it covers Puerto Rican, which I'm Spanish and Puerto Rican. That's a Latina, okay? You can call me Hispanic, you can call me a Latina, you can call me whatever you want, okay? So let's not, when he says he got a spicy little Latina, I think he was referring to her daughter, Madeline, and she knew it. Okay, now this is stuff that's coming out, and Anthony France, there's no murder charges yet. And again, I just said that because they're trying to cross their T's and dot their I's. I said it backwards earlier. They have to make sure that this sticks, but with these charges, he will be just like Keegan Kline in there for a really long time. So more charges are coming through the grapevine, and we're going to play some more videos and more clips so you can see this. Yeah, it's just not going to be me talking, although I can talk all day. Now, here's another thing. One of the investigators thinks that something happened at her party the night before. There's rumors that either one of the boys that came over, there was a boy that came over, or either came to her birthday party, or she was talking about it at her birthday party about a boy that she had a crush on. Now, when we watched that video of Jen, Maddie's mom, everyone calls her Maddie's mom, Jennifer Soto. When we watched the video, they asked about if they knew about any friends or dating any boyfriends. And Jen said, no, I would know about it. She tells me if she had a crush or any of that, and we can go back and watch that. I can just play that moment where she says that. And we watched the body language yesterday where Stephan Sterns tenses up at that moment. You could only see part of his body, but when they talk about her having a crush, and now we all know, all of us know this because he's got these 60 new charges. We know for a fact now that he was sexually abusing her and taking pictures of it. The worst of the worst that he was doing to her. I mean, he was full on, they use the word molest, but he was full on raping her, everybody. And he, in his sick mind, was in a relationship with her, I believe, and why he kept saying ex-girlfriend. But yes, I do believe that the mom knew. And yes, I heard that too. I heard the crush was at the party, and she was already, after the crush was at the party, it pissed Stephan off, and she was dead that night. He killed Maddie that night. And I was questioning myself as to why he wouldn't have went and dumped her body at night and not been seen. But I think there was probably various factors. There could have been people at the house, and also they would have been hard to have an alibi. And he could have said she disappeared the night of her party, but instead she went to school and went missing from there. So that might have just been some weird story. At this point, we don't really know. And we may never know unless he talks and tries to lessen it, or somebody talks, which I hope the mom flips. Okay, now you have my opinions. And this is how I want to keep that. I want to keep a lot of opinions. I want you guys to know how I feel. I want to correct myself. If I'm wrong on something, I'll come back and tell you I was wrong, but this is what I think. Now, I'm going to play the one and only Vinnie Politan. We're not going to listen to the whole thing, but I want you to listen to what I woke up to and how very heated that he gets also in his new channel about this. He came out early this morning, first thing. So I'm going to stop this video here. I played the charges and I timestamp everything, y'all. I go, and if I don't, let me know. I go back when I'm done and I timestamp. So if you don't want to hear me talking, you can fast forward it and get to the next thing. So we're going to listen to this and then we'll stop in between. And yeah, but this is more information because he has more connections to detectives, police, and behind the scenes information. Take a listen.
All right, everyone. Great to see you. Got some big news in the case involving Madeline Soto. Big news involving charges and what it all means here. Got a notification and some information coming to us from Kissimmee PD. Kissimmee PD is leading this investigation and taking a look at everything. So we got big news coming up there. One moment, just trying to get us live onto Instagram. I don't know if it worked or not.
Yeah, he's new at this too, so we'll see. All
right. Anyhow,
there we go.
That being said, let's get back to where we are. So wait for a couple more people to come in. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Thank you, Vinny, for sharing this information.
This is pretty big news.
We know it, but
big news.
Let's go. Come on, let's hear your thoughts.
I'm just getting the stream going here as I'm getting.
I'll fast forward a little bit because we want to hear what he has to say, but I don't want to hear what he's thinking while he's trying to get it going. But we do appreciate you, Vinny. He's still showing pictures.
60 new.
All right, hold on.
Oh my goodness gracious! I'm messing
there he
this
goes.
Up big time.
Hey, at least I'm not the only one,
all right,
Carly.
so people coming in here. I just got this from the Kissimmee Police Department. 60, not 16, 60 new charges filed against Stephan Sterns. 60 new charges against Stephan Sterns filed by the that'll be referred up to the state attorney's office. But this is a huge development in the investigation of this case as to what happened to Madeline Soto. So that is a huge headline right now. Huge headline.
Come on, Vinny, get your thoughts together. I think I was in.
It changes the game. It changed the game big time for Stephan Sterns. You know, we're not even at the point where any of these charges are related to the death of Madeline Soto. That is still to come. That investigation is continuing. This is about what happened to Madeline, what she had to suffer through prior to her life being taken years old.
And it had been happening for
it is incredibly tragic.
It's not more.
Incredibly tragic. What happened to this young girl. And the more we're learning, the more maddening, the more.
Absolutely. He's with me. We're all with each other on this.
Heartbreaking. It is. The details that are coming out, but you're just joining us, folks. The headline: 60 new charges filed against Stephan Sterns.
Now, you guys hear Vinny here. He's very heated also. I'm going to come side by side with him so you can see me right with him. We're like at the same we're at the same thing. So we're listening to his thoughts for a minute. Yeah, Vinnie Politans, he's great. I love people that have that passion. He's so passionate that he goes to work and then he comes home and does the same thing again. Or he's whatever. I don't know if it's day off or early morning, but he works and then he does this too. So again, he used to be, I believe, I know he's a lawyer, probably a prosecutor with the way he talks. If anybody knows, put that in the chat. Let's continue him. I just want to hear some of this. There's other stuff I have to show you.
I'm going to go through them in just a second, and then talk about how this impacts everything else in this case.
Thank you.
Everything else will
Thank you,
be
Vinnie.
impacted by this and the number of charges. And these charges you're looking at now in Florida, in the state of Florida, because of her age, subject you to a potential death sentence. So,
Okay, there you go. So now here, that is what Sadie's mama was saying. I don't know the Florida laws. I only know California, and California is really laxed. And I wish they weren't. I wish we still had the death penalty. And I believe they just took that away. That's why they took Scott Peterson off, and they're going to give him a new trial probably at some point, maybe. But here you go.
So, wow. All right, let's put this up. Okay, so these charges, let me go through it. 8 counts of sexual battery on a child under 12.
If you missed it the first time, he's saying it again. So trigger warning. I read it to you. You saw the document. This is the document he's reading from. Trigger warning. Don't listen if you don't want to hear it. All right. One more time.
Under 12. That number is significant because of the laws down in the state of Florida and the penalties and the punishment when you do this to someone who is under the age of 12. 5 counts of sexual battery with a child 12 to 18. So now you're seeing that it began before she was 12 and it continued. So this conduct is ongoing conduct. 7 counts of lewd and lascivious molestation. That gives you 20, what was that, 20 counts right there. And then 40 counts of unlawful possession of materials depicting sexual performance by a child, 10 or more images. Raises questions. Raises a lot of questions here.
Okay, so he's going to give his take on the questions that it raises. Now, it gives me a lot of answers, but yeah, there's so many questions. I bet Carly and Anthony and Sadie's mom, we all have a lot of questions, and I want to see where he's going with his questions. My questions are, how long has this been happening for? Has it been happening before she was 9, like they say? If that's true story and the kids told and they told her mom, why did nothing happen? Why were there no repercussions? Why didn't the school get CPS involved? Did they get CPS involved? Those are my questions, but I think his are coming more from a lawyer's standpoint. So let's hear that. I don't know if we're going to watch the whole video. I don't think it's that long, but I still have other stuff and content. I want to show you other perspectives, other things. So let's just listen to him for a little bit from a lawyer's, an ex-lawyer, now newscaster's perspective.
Specifically, the questions that it's raising. How long was this going on? How often was this happening? And why was it happening? Was it just the sickness of the suspect in this case? Was she being trafficked? Were these images being sold? Were they being shared?
This, I don't think so. I'm going to debunk this right now. Maybe not in this case. I'm not saying they weren't being shared, but that's going to be a bigger investigation altogether. And I think they would have charged him with more charges. And that's coming from a New York police detective that said they would have absolutely charged him had they seen that he was sharing this. Now, they have digger to deep into this, but as of right now, we don't think they were being sold, shared possibly, but we don't know how yet, if that's the case. Those are his questions. Those weren't mine. My questions were, why was it happening for so long? And why wasn't the mom doing anything? All right, let's keep going.
And obviously, it always comes back to, what did mom know? What did mom know? Now, she hasn't been charged in anything. So my guess is whatever information that they're gathering from the phone and the continuation of the investigation has not implicated the mother. Let me read for you what Kissimmee PD is saying today. The state attorney's office in the 9th Judicial Circuit has filed 60 new criminal charges against Stephan Sterns, the man associated with the Madeline Soto case. Shortly after Madeline Soto's disappearance, several disturbing images and videos were found on his phone.
Okay. So we're not going to listen to this again and fast forward through it really quick because we already just read that. I just kind of wanted to hear some of his thoughts and see how heated he gets. And yeah, Carly, when I saw that picture of Stephan Sterns without a beard and he made his eyes, he used that filter with the googly eyes. I just about my face, I think my mouth probably dropped when I saw that because that was an automatic just. I've seen YouTubers do that in the past. There was a particular one that you remember the banana song that did that with the younger girls, and I'm a banana. He did that too. He made himself look younger, and that's a big. I don't know why he's back on YouTube again, but when people do that and they try to look younger, it's a sign, everybody, and I hope that we start to see things like this more and more where grown men are tailoring themselves to young children. Let me fast forward through him and I'll just keep talking about that for a minute. And if you guys have questions, I'll answer them, but I don't want to hear that part again. I just want to kind of hear his thoughts. There's somebody here from Canadian Love. Is that you, Carly?
Triple in size in 1 week. I mean, I didn't do much on YouTube, and when we started getting on here, we've tripled in size already. So
good, Vinnie.
300%,
Awesome.
which is awesome.
Yes.
Peggy's in Missouri today. Great to see you, Peggy. Who else? Kelly M from West Virginia. Soul.
Okay, yes, that is another. It's Onision. You're absolutely right. I watched that documentary and it blew me away. We could do a whole story on Onision. He is just like this guy, in my opinion, and he was in plain sight doing it online. Now, everybody knows where he lives. I actually have his address because, like, he gave it away to young girls to come and visit him. Everybody from YouTube. Yeah, I watched that. He still lives there to this day, and he's worth about, I think they said his net worth is about 2.5 million, and they put him back on YouTube. I showed my daughter him because I had, now Vinny's giving his thoughts, but I'm going to give mine because this is my channel. Okay, so it was Onision, and I showed her the Onision. I showed her parts of the documentary. She's 9 years old. Then I shared it with my son, that's 24. And I showed my daughter because she watches YouTube all the time. I gave her lots of little tips and lessons on grown men that look like they're younger and they're not. They're baiting you in to want to watch them, and then you'll feel special if they message you. Yeah, he has 2 million subs now. Back then on that documentary, there was like a top 100 on YouTube, and he was bringing girls to his house, and you could still see these videos of him bringing these girls. He made one girl turn. I don't know how he could make her do that, but he did. He decided that she was he decided she was a he made her shave her head, and he did all kinds of, he'd slap them, he'd degrade them, and that girl has a big following, by the way. I hate to change the subject, we're going to continue on this, but those are my thoughts on pedophiles and the internet. And this guy is a pedophile that was on the internet, and he was using his platform, I believe, and they probably have his message, I believe. Stephan Sterns was using that platform and showing the toys and interacting with other little girls. So warn your daughters if you have them, warn your sons, warn your kids about guys like this. I have done so with mine. Onision did that.
Was she being trafficked? There's a lot more that Kissimmee PD, I'm sure, is going to be uncovering in the days to come. Anita is with us, Doodle Mom. Front Range Mama from the Front Range of Colorado.
Come on,
us, Miss Paula.
I love your channel, but let's hear some evidence, because
so by the time the law is passed, she is already past the age.
Okay, let's go back a little.
Law was passed after the
What law?
there in Alberta, Canada. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Tons of comments. Can't get to them all at once, but we'll work our way through it. So the big news again, 60 new charges. So what does this do now? So he's not going anywhere. Based
Here's
just on
where we
these
are.
charges, if he's convicted, he's going nowhere. He's locked up for the rest of his life. But there's also, because of the age of the victim,
You hear that?
down in Florida, new law. The one question I don't know is, does the new law retroactively take effect, right? The new law that was passed provides a potential for the ultimate penalty, right? For a sex crime for a child, right? You go to the chamber. You go to the chamber. If the victim is a child, as Madeline.
Is there a chamber, everybody? I don't know if I know Florida's really tough on the death penalty. And when Ted Bundy was there, he had the electric chair. But if anybody knows that's in Florida and knows the laws or the death penalty, what is the death penalty? What does that mean nowadays? Does that mean is that the gas chambers that he's talking about, or what is he talking about? Let me know in the comments. Let's listen a little bit more. He's telling us what's going to happen in Florida if he goes to death penalty and ultimately gets executed.
Is in this case. So the law was passed after the conduct. So that's the one thing I don't know. And this is, we're getting into the minutia of law, but that's why I'm here for you folks.
Love the minutia of law, Vinny.
How will that be interpreted? Is this law retroactively effective?
Probably not.
It's tough. It's tough to subject someone to a law at the time of the conduct if the law is not passed until afterwards. So by the time the law is passed, she is already past the age that would subject him to the ultimate punishment for these crimes. So my gut is telling me
he murdered her too.
Not be eligible, and if it is eligible, it will be an issue that will be litigated.
And maybe for the death penalty for
by
the
the defense
murder.
in this, if they go for the ultimate punishment for these sex crimes. In the meantime, the investigation into the death of little Madeline continues.
Absolutely.
That continues. And
That could be a
Kissimmee
death
PD
penalty.
say we're putting together the timeline of everything that happened up until that point. Right? So they know where they found her, and then they've got to move. They're moving backwards from there to figure out how did she get there? How exactly did she get there? What was going on? Who was involved? And when did it all happen? The why of it, you don't have to prove, but the why of it sometimes can unlock a lot more about what happened here, right? You don't have to prove motive. The only case you have to prove a motive is in a hate crime, because that's what a hate crime is. Hate crime.
So yeah, obviously it's Vinny's channel. He talks a lot of his thoughts. I like that, and it gets me fired up. But I just wanted to listen to parts of this to see how fired up he was. A lot of this is him and his thoughts. He's very new at this, so it's not organized. It's not as organized as I'd like him to be as a lawyer to tell me exactly what's happening and tell all of us. But it's funny because I was also watching the two people that came out right away was, again, Duty Ron. You're going to see him again, and Vinnie Politan. And Duty Ron puts Vinnie Politan on. So I want to hear from a New York police detective and what he has to say about it. And we're not going to keep reading the thing over and over. But after that, I'm going to go back to the video. And now that you know that these charges have been filed against him and what you all know, let's watch that few-minute clip of just Stephan Sterns talking, and then you guys can tell me what you think. You could have your thoughts about this, and then we can end it on that. My breaking news for everybody here were the 60 new charges, and me reading them for you and wanting to know what you all had to say. So I wish more comments were coming in. I don't think I'm getting all the comments through. I know there's more, and I know there's more people coming in and out, but I'm going through StreamYard, and yeah, I'm gonna have to fix that situation. So let me hear a little bit more, then I'm gonna switch him out.
Is the motive the potential for the ultimate punishment? The ultimate punishment. The question is, will they charge someone in addition to this man? Again, the investigation is continuing.
Good question.
For great to see you, Lynette. Thank you. The investigation is continuing to figure out where was she, who was there. I'm really interested in that birthday party at the end. To
Here's
me,
the
the
part.
birthday party is so close to the time of her death that who was there? What did they notice? What did they see? We've seen a photograph, but that's all we've seen, right? That's all we've seen is this photograph.
Okay, everybody. So today it did come out that the photographs that you see on some of the other channels, and I should get them, but there are about 6 photographs that are there. But one of them you saw on my channel as the thumbnail, and there are some others. Those were from a friend at her party that have now come forward to the police and turned them in. Now, of course, the police aren't telling us what she is saying or what she said, but she may have some information about that. Yeah, it's not letting me see all my messages either, Carly, and I wish it would because it's showing 1 bar on here. So I apologize that the internet is spotty. It's pretty stormy here. I'll fix the situation soon. I have really good internet, I promise. But it's come forward that those pictures are from the party, the ones that you see with the streamers, and there's another few in her dress and outside that was from her friend that was her age that may have some information. So we're going to follow up with that as well. All right, let's listen to what he says about that.
So the question is, what else was going on? Dreamers. Mom knows more, and dad had.
Yep, we already think that.
Well, when you say dad was abusive, do you mean the alleged stepfather, who wasn't a legal stepfather and clearly did not act like a father? It's clear in the allegations. I mean, 60 new charges now against Stephan Sterns. So that is part of this case, big time.
All right, we're going to stop sharing him because I have my own thoughts, and we love you, Vinny. Thank you for letting me stream your stuff and get your thoughts together. But I want to play this now because comes a little bit this comes directly from somebody that's in the New York Police Department, and we're going to play this one more time for you just to show you whoever has it that wasn't on there, and we'll play this and then you'll see who I am putting on. You already see the top, but here we go.
Madeline's murder.
Sheldon, not murder, but still a total of 60 new charges have been filed against Sterns in connection with the death of Madeline Soto, who was found dead after being reported missing. Now, the new charges include 8 counts of sexual battery on a child under the age of 12, 5 counts of sexual battery with a child 12 to 18 years old, and then 7 counts of lewd and lascivious molestation, and 40 counts of unlawful possession of materials depicting sexual performance by a child.
Now I'm going to stop it right there, friends, and I want to put myself back on the screen. These are 60 new charges as it pertains to his cellular device.
Now, this is going to give us a little more information about what devices, and again, from a New York detective, he actually is still he's retired. His crime time ed actually still works in the this CSI or forensics. He does all of that with the dead bodies, and there's other terms for that, but yeah, he's into the autopsy reports, the forensics, every little bit. And Onision is a really weird guy. Anthony from True Crime Investigates, that would be amazing to do a story with you, because I would love to do a story on Onision to bring back the awareness. I know in my heart of hearts that he's doing it still, but in a different way. Now, we're talking about Stephan Sterns here in the 60 new charges, but I am bringing awareness to whoever's watching this. My viewership is really split right now. I've got the 18 to 25, the 26 to 33, whatever it is, and then 35 to 60, whatever. So it's almost exactly split completely in thirds. So everybody, if you don't have a kid, if you do have a kid, if you're about to have a kid, if you have grandkids, please bring awareness to this. I'd love to talk about Onision more and just do an episode on him to bring back the awareness. I think people might have forgot about, because he has a YouTube channel that's back on. They took him down for a while, and kids get excited. My daughter gets excited when someone messages her and wants to personally talk to her, and it can be a grown man. So I do monitor that. I can't be one of those parents that says no electronics, because we're in that day and age. Let's listen some more, everybody. Thank you again. It's Duty Ron. We're listening to him. We're seeing the charges right here. You can read them while I'm talking.
And perhaps his computers, his laptops, his desktop computer, if he had one, any type of electronic devices. It's not just his cell phone. This is a cumulative, accumulating charges
Exactly.
of all of his
All.
electronic devices.
Everything.
Now, there was 2 charges that he was initially charged with, and I have them written down here: sexual battery and possession of material of a sexual nature performed by a child on his phone. So there was these.
Also, another friend came forward. There's a couple friends, and now I'm mentioning Gray. I'm just going to say Gray, and everybody knows his channel. He's been covering this for days and days and days. So he's had friends on there, and those clips are making the cut everywhere. So it goes from his channel to everyone taking them. So I'm not going to play those. I don't even want to mess with him at all. But the friend, there's a friend of a friend that said they found content and his mom paid him off. Now the friend that happened to came on. Stephan Sterns was recording. He had a recording device in his girlfriend's bedroom, not Stephan Sterns' bedroom, but the friend's bedroom. And they found the images of her getting dressed and undressed. And Stephan's mom paid that guy off, which was a roommate. So I want you to know this goes way back. I mean, this guy is just a sick man, but more and more is coming out. So if you have more, say more, bring it to the cops, please.
2 main charges that he was charged with on his initial arrest. And that arrest was just 7 days ago, actually 6 days ago. He was arrested, I believe, last Wednesday. So it's Tuesday. Yeah, we got 6 days. I'm homesick from work. I'm not feeling well, but I'm actually monitoring this case closely. And as soon as this came across the wire, I wanted to bring it live to you guys as we see this developing. This is not surprising to me, because they said that there was.
Yeah, it's not surprising, everybody, because everybody that's coming forward is saying the same thing. And yeah, it's been verified, Carly, and I'm sure the people may come forward later, but the guy that his girlfriend was being recorded did come forward and say that the mom paid him off to not go to the cops. So he's been doing things like this for a long, long time. All right, let's see. I'm going to be fast forwarding through stuff. We're not watching whole videos of other channels. I just think these guys are validating and bringing new information in a different way than I can.
Going to be more charges right here. Stephan Sterns, we wanted to let you guys know that this man right here is the face of evil. When you look up demon in the dictionary, or in you look it up in the encyclopedia, this is what it shows. This guy is a demon.
Yes, and you're absolutely right, Sadie's mama. And I didn't come here to play other channels, so you can just look at that while I'm talking. I did not come here to play other channels. I came here to bring awareness and talk about the new charges with Stephan Sterns. When he was 22, he had a 14-year-old, 4'11" little small Asian girlfriend, and he brought her to parties and bars, and the guys that he was with, his roommates, he was roommates with a group of guys for 5 or 6 full years, everybody. And when he was telling everybody at 22 that she was 17, and the guys were not comfortable with that, even because they were all 22 and they're hitting the bars, and they told him, no, she can't come. She came forward recently and said at the time she was not 17. She was only 14. So he likes little girls, everybody. He was dating a 14-year-old at the time. And not only that, but she was small, so he could dominate her. She was about 4'11", and we know that Asian descent most of the time are smaller and thinner in stature. So that's what Duty Ron calls him, a demon. That's the face of a demon, those black eyes. It's just disgusting. I'm going to hear a couple more. I just want to hear a couple more things from Duty Ron, and I think I just want to show you the video again. And now that you see all these charges, I want you to watch him and his body language and judge for yourself. And it's not a long video, but yeah, I didn't come here to play this guy. I have my own thoughts.
Was sexually abusing her, documented on paper as per his cellular and electronic devices from March of 2022 going right up until December of 2023. And that, in my eyes, my friends, is the face of evil, and this guy's a demon.
That's documented.
I'm going to
We
let
don't
this
know
play
what
just
else.
a little bit more so you guys can listen, and then we'll chime back in. But the big question that I'm asking each of you right here and right now is, what's going on with the mom, Jennifer Soto? She's
Good
lawyered up.
question for you.
She's clammed up. She hasn't said a word, obviously, because she knows that the heat is on her. By a show of hands in the chat, if you feel that we will be seeing forthcoming, and I'm going to press a 1 myself right now. If you feel that,
I'm going to ask all of you that too. If you feel like the mom's involved, and I think everybody's on the same page, they just don't know whether it's a yes to what they're saying. So you guys don't have to, people are passing by and they're going to do a replay. I don't know why my internet shows that there's one bar on StreamYard. It's really weird. But let me fast forward this. We already saw this. I'm not going to keep repeating. We already read that. He's going to read through that. Let's hear this really quickly. Right here.
today, on March 12th of 2024.
Case we are following closely, and tonight the investigation into the death of a 13-year-old Central Florida girl continues.
Madeline Soto's body was found just over a week ago after a days-long multi-county search effort. And while no one has been charged in her death yet, the prime suspect in the case, according to investigators, is a man who was supposed to be there to protect her mother's boyfriend, Stephan Sterns. It is a story that has impacted people across Central Florida and the country. And tonight, our Rafael Pires breaks down where the investigation is at right now and how things
All right, so you guys know what happened, and I was going to already play that video, and then I saw it. I have a clip of it directly from the station. So we already know what's happening next. That's all he's going to talk about. I'm going to stop sharing this channel because I can't even believe that we've been here together for an hour already. And I'm going to show you I have it marked down. Let me see. I have it marked down, and I want to show you. So I wanted to show you the video. I don't know what I did with it. I'm sure I could find it really quickly, but I had it on here. Oh, there it is. Okay. I want to share this with you at when he starts going and not focus on the mom. Last time we focused on the mom, and hold on, I'm going to fast forward. Let's focus on what he's saying. We're going to skip past this and just one more time go through it, and then I will let everyone get back to what they're doing. And maybe I'll come on here later. I want to do the Lake and Riley case, everybody. There's an update. Oh. All right. Stop. Let's get him on there now. We're going to put this awful, evil guy up. And now that you know what he's done, this won't take long. Stay here with me. Tell me your thoughts. I'm not getting all of the questions, but I know you have thoughts now that we see him again in another completely non-speculative perspective.
First and last name is spelled them both out for me.
Stephan Sterns.
Stephansterns. So Stephan, you seem very emotional right now. Explain to us.
I dropped her off. Everything looked fine when I drove away. It's the last time we saw her.
What were the conversations that y'all had in the car when you dropped her off?
Not much. She was asleep for most of the way. Told her have a good day in school when she got out. I love her. She said, thanks, love you too. That was it.
And so where do you think she could possibly be? I mean, this isn't, as I was told, this isn't normal behavior.
This is not normal behavior. She's not the type that would just run off. We don't know where she can be. And we're scared. We just want her home.
Are you, in a sense, blaming yourself?
It's hard not to.
Why?
Now, by now, you all should know that that morning he told them he went and got a vape pen. He was trying to, I guess, be as forthcoming as he thought he should be, just like everybody else. Bridge guy that goes and tells that he was at the bridge. Corey Richins that writes a book after she kills her husband. So he's being as forthcoming as he can. He was really high in this interview. So his eyes were not red just from him fake crying. His eyes were red because he was really high. This makes me, I don't smoke weed or anything, everybody. This is just nicotine. But he went and got himself one of these that has nicotine that morning and got really high. So keep in mind why his eyes are that red. It was because he was super high. And I know why now.
I dropped her off early. I could have waited longer. She looked okay. She was walking towards the school when I saw her. It was like any other day, so I went on with my day. It's hard not to blame myself.
What has the conversation been with Jen since?
She's been a lot stronger than me. She's been holding it together really well. And but it just keeps coming in waves. Just the reality.
Yeah. What you did.
Where she is.
Reality of what happened.
She's safe. We're just scared. We just want her home.
Have you,
I'm open to watching the Dr. G body one if you guys want. I wish my internet was being better because I really wanted to interact with you, but there's also a breakdown on his body behavior. I think it's about 15 minutes. I can pull that up after if you're still here. Anybody, I did not think I was going to be on this long, but I'll pull it up while we're watching this. And if you want to see what Dr. G says, but I'm telling you now, he was high. Every time he exhaled, it was because he was thinking about what was in his head and what he was replaying. And, when he says what he's just said right now, it's because he can't go backwards and take it back. And I think he knows that he's going to be caught soon.
Like literally put boots on the ground, went out.
Yeah, I even went out with the cops.
Sorry about that. Hold on.
Which in 2024 was surprising. The church across the street had some cameras, and they mentioned seeing her waiting around in the parking lot for a while before moving on, and that was it. But it was grainy. It was grainy footage, and not much else.
Does it seem like she walked west, east?
They said in the direction of the school. I'm not sure what that is.
What was the language? Not language verbal.
How did he not know what direction the school was, by the way? So, yeah, that's just ridiculous. Keep watching. I just want you to know I'm here with you, and I just want you to call him all the names you can right now that you actually know, and he's been charged with this. Now, he hasn't been convicted, obviously, but they did find those photos and videos on his devices, so he's directly connected with it. So get it all out, everybody. I'm getting it out with you right now. I've been holding it in all day long. Get it out. Look at this. Watch this awful, evil man.
Language, body language. when you dropped her off, did she seem happy? Was she like, I'm going to meet my friends?
Happy. She had a happy weekend. She just turned 13. She had a 13th birthday party. She was happy that we were all together here, and she was just very happy. She was a happy kid. She's very sweet. She's a very sweet girl. She brings a lot of joy to us, and we just not knowing.
So the unknown is.
All right, so he's just sitting there thinking. I had to bump that up. He's crying for himself. You know what's an even better idea, everybody, is to listen to this instead of watching him again, because I do want to do that with you, and I'm going to do that with you now. But instead of doing that, I'm going to watch it with you while Dr. G explains and gives you a better perspective on what he thinks. And it's going to be a way different perspective than me. I bet you it's even going to be a way different perspective than you. It's crazy. Listen, man.
Hey, everybody. Dr. G here. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist and body language expert. And today we're going to be analyzing the behavior and body language of Stephan Sterns. Stephan Sterns is the boyfriend of Jennifer Soto, who is the mother of Madeline Soto. Madeline Soto went missing, but her body was recently recovered. Stephan Sterns has since been arrested due to what was reported as illicit content on his phone, which he attempted to wipe the day that Madeline Soto went missing. Before we get started with this, I wanted to remind you of a couple of things. One, this is not a psychological evaluation of any kind. These are just my opinions. Two, this is not about anybody's guilt nor their innocence. I'm just going to be commenting on the body language and the behavior that I observe. I also wanted to say that I have gotten a lot of emails specifically about this case, which is exactly why I decided to do this video. So if there's other cases you want me to do.
All right, let's get to it.
PHANSTERNS.
Thank you, Dr. G.
Stephan, you seem very emotional.
So as you can see, his eyes are very red. His eyes are bloodshot. This is going to become a focal point of this interview. But I just wanted to point out, if you didn't notice that, his eyes do appear to be a bit glazed over right now.
Right now, explain to us.
Because he smoked a bunch of weed, Dr. G.
He said you seem to be very, very emotional right now. Explain it to us. He immediately started in on the narrative of what happened that day. So rather than talking about the fact that his family's having a tough time, rather than talking about what he was asked about, he clearly has something that he wants to talk about. So he actually ignored the question and just started talking about what he wanted to say. In addition to that, you noticed a big sigh. Watch this right here.
This is a good
You seem
one.
very emotional right now. Explain to us.
I dropped her off.
So that big sigh before he's saying he dropped her off. We tend to do that as a way to relieve stress. We need to take in more oxygen when we're feeling stressed out. So that big breath out can oftentimes be a way to try to calm ourselves down. So he's just trying to calm himself down, talking about what happened that day. Just wanted to point that out as we keep going.
Everything looked fine when I drove away. So last time we saw her.
What were the conversations that you had in the car when you dropped her off?
Not much. She was asleep for most of the way.
Now you'll notice when he said she was asleep for the most of the way, there was just a little bit of an eyebrow flash. He moved his eyebrows up a little bit. We do that when we want people to focus on something that we're saying. So what he wants people to hear is she was asleep most of the way. So I'm not going to provide you information. Watch his eyebrows right here.
That you had in the car when you dropped her off?
Not much. She was asleep for most of the way. Told her have a good day at school when she got out, and I love her.
He responded vaguely to this. What kind of conversations did you have? He didn't say. He said she was asleep most of the way. He's avoiding providing specific details.
What were the conversations that
We also now know that she probably was dead by then. So there's that.
you had in the car when you dropped her off?
Not much. She was asleep for most of the way.
So not much. She was asleep for most of the way. Rather than giving any detail at all about the conversations they had, he just says not much.
There weren't any conversations.
When she got out, and I love her. She said, thanks, love you too.
Thanks.
That was it.
And so where do you think she could possibly be? I mean, this isn't, as I was told, this isn't normal behavior.
It's not normal behavior. She's not the type that would just run off.
And you'll notice, once again, he's avoiding answering almost any question directly.
Where do you think she could possibly be? I mean, this isn't, as I was told, this isn't normal behavior.
It's not normal behavior. She's not the type that would just run off. We don't know where she can be.
he repeats the question and then he doesn't answer almost any of the questions. That's why I love Dr. G. Hang in there with me, y'all.
We were scared. I dropped her off early. I could have waited longer. She looked okay. She was walking towards the school when I saw her. It was like any other day, so I went on with my day. It's hard not to blame myself.
What is the
Now, you may have noticed that you're hearing some sounds related to crying, like sniffing and a wavering voice, but we haven't seen a single tear. And I always think that that's worth noting. Crying with no tears always stands out to me. Now, that doesn't mean that everybody has to cry because they're upset, but if you're doing all the things related to crying, wiping your eyes, sniffing your nose, speaking with a wavering voice, then you tend to assume you're going to see at least 1 or 2 tears. We have not seen any yet.
It's hard not to blame myself.
What has the conversation been with Jen since?
She's been very...
And after he said, it's hard not to blame myself, there was a big sigh afterward. It seemed like there was some relief after getting that piece out before going on to the next. So you'll notice he does have a tendency to let out big sighs sometimes.
It's hard not to blame myself.
What has the conversation been with Jen since?
She's been very... a lot stronger than me.
That's all he does is
been holding it together
sigh
really well.
the whole time.
But it just keeps coming in waves. Just the reality keeps hitting. We don't know
Every
where she
time
is.
he gets high, it goes
don't know
away
what she's
a little
saying.
bit. I don't think Dr. G knew.
See, there's the eye, but there are no tears. Whenever there's crying without tears, it always is worth paying attention to. Like I said, not everybody has to cry. Everybody has a very different way of processing emotions, but don't wipe your eyes if there aren't any tears in it. It makes it look a little bit strange.
It's coming in waves. Just the reality keeps hitting. We don't know where she is. We don't know if she's safe. We're just scared. We just want her home.
Have you...
You'll notice also how quietly he's saying some of these things. We're just scared. We just want her home. His voice is getting smaller and smaller, almost like it's an attempt to hide what he's saying.
Not feeling her presence here is... Sorry. It's hard.
Why is he way more upset than the mom? That's so weird.
What do you want our viewers to know when they...
I think anybody watching this probably already knows what I'm about to say, which is that his performance when it came to the crying and when it came to having to stop himself for a second, we still haven't seen a single tear, despite the crying or the sounds that go along with crying.
When they see this,
she's a sweetheart. She's a very sweet, kind girl. Just please be nice to her. Bring her home if you find her. Tell her that we love her.
Now watch his eyes right here. This is interesting.
Very sweet, kind girl. Just please be nice to her. Bring her home if you...
So for a second, it seems like he was tempted to try to plead to the camera, but lost his nerve. This only lasted for a split second when he started this, but rather than acting as though he's actually talking to somebody, it's like he starts it, but then doesn't commit.
Just please be nice to her. Bring her home if you find her.
Guys.
Tell her that we love her.
I might have to drop.
Wherever she is, I hope she's okay.
I mean, if someone were to come in contact with her.
All right, now let's watch a little bit of the interview with Jennifer Soto. We're going to watch his body language as he sits in the background.
It was seen on video footage that she hung out in the parking lot of the church for a few minutes and then got up and walked towards the school. But she never made it. That walk and that was around 9 a.m. when she got up. She never made it.
Thanks for watching this with me, everybody. I appreciate each and every one of you. I actually did not watch this one yet, but I wanted to get into it in a video at some point, and now's the good time. Since we were going to rewatch the video anyway, we might as well rewatch it with Dr. G explaining it.
To school after that. It's right next to the school. I don't know why she didn't make it. I don't know if something happened on her walk along the way or if she got...
So you'll notice as she's describing what happened, as she's saying, I don't know what happened. I don't know if something happened along the way. He is getting kind of fidgety. Watch this right here.
I don't know why she didn't make it. I don't know if something happened on her walk along the way or if she got taken, but she never made it. Yes. I went to pick her up after school. and she wasn't there.
What an incredibly strange time to start cracking your knuckles during an interview. When she is talking about Madeline missing, trying to retrace the steps of what could have happened, he's sitting there, popping his fingers, popping his knuckles. Now, one thing I do want you to keep in mind, doing that can be seen as aggressive. Cracking one's knuckles can be seen as aggressive. It's also a way that we can relieve tension, but more than that, it can be seen as an aggressive act. So it's interesting that as she's talking about this, his reaction is not one of fear or anxiety, but it seems to be one of aggression.
Was the last anyone seen of her or heard from her?
Yes. I went to pick her up after school, and she wasn't there. So I started driving around, maybe thinking she took a walk. Maybe she decided to walk to my mom's office, which is pretty close to the school as well.
Now, this may be entirely unrelated. I'm not trying to imply something happened here, but I do want you to keep in mind that as they're talking about her missing, this is when he starts focusing on his hands. Why that is, I don't know. But our brains don't do much of anything random. Typically, there's some meaning. Not everything's got a deep meaning. But why did he start thinking about his hands, start thinking about moving his hands around and flexing his hands when it came to talking about the fact that Madeline Soto was missing? Just very peculiar behavior.
I drove around and I didn't see anything. I drove back to the school.
Keep this in mind, everybody. There was speculation that now that they found the body, there was trauma to her head and to her neck. So if we do find out that she was, there was blunt force trauma with his hands or he strangled her, that may be a reason why, and it's correlated. Somebody said that one of the detectives and news that I was consuming said that that might be the reason, was because he was correlating the two between the assault and what they're talking about.
Was closed. I emailed one of her teachers. They confirmed that she was absent all day. At that point is when I called 911 because I realized something was truly wrong.
Have you heard from like any of her friends? Has she been active on any social media?
She hasn't been active on social media.
Now you'll notice right now his arm is a bit out. His posture is taking up more space. He doesn't comfortably have his hands in his lap. He's sitting in a position that you might consider dominant. Think about a police officer standing, hands on hips, taking up more space. That is seen as a powerful dominant stance. When we sit and we put our arm up or we try to take up more space in some way, that is oftentimes deemed a dominant stance. So right here, as he's sitting with his arm out a bit, this could be seen as trying to take up more space, trying to seem a bit dominant at that moment.
None of her chats, none of her games. We did contact all her friends. None of them had seen her Monday or heard from her. Yeah, there's no update.
You could also interpret his presence at all as being somewhat aggressive. Why sit behind somebody? Why not join for the interview? Why not talk about it ahead of time? The fact that he's hovering, for what purpose? Is he trying to listen in? Is he trying to make sure that what's being said is the way that he's thinking about it? It's hard to say. But the whole situation, the whole dynamic, the whole positioning of everybody, very peculiar throughout this whole interview.
She's open to us. She's open with us about, if she's got a crush with anyone, and she told us she had a crush on someone at school.
And I have to ask this, and I know
You'll notice in the background, he's also fidgeting with something. I don't know if it's a vape. I'm not sure what it is, but the idea that he couldn't wait until after this interview to do whatever it is that he wanted to do does show a lot of tension. It shows a lot of fidgetiness, a lot of challenges sitting still.
I hate doing it, but
I noticed he fidgeted when she talked about a boyfriend at school. Now, Dr. G talks really fast, so I'm going to go back to slowing it down a little bit. We're almost through this, but Dr. G talks fast, boy. She talks slow and he talks fast. So we'll put this back. We're almost done. Hang in there with me.
she the type that would run away? Has this happened in the past or anything? Has she ever threatened to run away?
Never. She's never ever mentioned anything like this before, and she's not the type to want to do this.
And it's interesting that that was the moment that he seemed like he was listening intensely, asking about her ever threatening to run away or running away. It's like he was waiting to get through that. Then he started, I think he's vaping. I'm not sure. It's something that's making him turn away. But he was really keyed in during that moment, and then it seemed to have lost interest a little bit right there, or seems to have maybe found some relief.
Has she ever threatened to run away?
Never. She's never ever mentioned anything like this before, and she's not the type to want to do this. She's open to us. She's open with us about, if she's got a crush with anyone, and she told us she had a crush on someone at school. And I looked at their messages. Nothing was weird. I looked at all of her messages, deleted messages.
Now, when she said she looked at her messages, nothing was weird, it almost seemed like his body went into a position of relief. He's got his hand on his leg. He slumped down a little bit. Now, sometimes when people go dramatically down, it's losing confidence. I don't think it so much right there. To me, that seemed like relief.
With us about, if she's got a crush with anyone, and she told us she had a crush on someone at school.
Well, the cops found all that. They were able to obtain everything and retrieve his iPhone that he accidentally did a hard reset on. So, yeah, just keep watching him. You can tell we're not watching the girlfriend.
And I looked at their messages. Nothing was weird. I looked at all of her messages, all of her deleted messages. Nothing seemed weird. It didn't seem like she was talking to anyone. So I don't feel like that's the case. I feel like she may have been taken, because this is not like her at all to just disappear and not let us know where she's going or who she's with. Yeah.
What are you getting from law enforcement?
All right, now the hand on the back of the neck, that's seen as an extreme reaction to stress. So the fact that he's doing that in this context is very noticeable.
At all to just disappear and not let us know where she's going or who she's with. Yeah.
What are you getting from law enforcement? Are they actively searching for?
There's a lot of nerves in the neck. So touching the back of the neck, rubbing the hands on the neck, that is a way to pacify ourselves, to make ourselves feel calmer.
Her, what happens now? Especially that she doesn't have her phone with her.
They're also taking their own vehicles. I'm not sure what type of vehicles, but they're going into the woods to search for her.
Now, you notice when she said they were going into the woods to search for her, he averted his head. He gained some distance from her when she said that. Oftentimes when we're trying to disconnect from people, we physically move our bodies back, we look away, we disconnect from people so that there isn't that connection anymore. Watch what I'm talking about right here.
They're also taking their own vehicles. I'm not sure what type of vehicles, but they're going into the woods to search for her. But I don't feel like that's going to find anything right now. We've had people all day.
So we'll go ahead and wrap things up here. Hopefully this is helping you better understand some of the behavior and body language we're observing. Now, he has not been charged with.
Okay, now we know he has been charged and we know what he's been charged with. And that was the whole point of the video today. I wish I was getting everybody's messages. That would be great, because right now I have like one bar on my StreamYard and I'm going to have to do something to figure this out. I can stream in a different spot. I have different offices, but I like this area. So got to figure it out. I want to talk to you all and see all the questions that you have. But I do see Sadie's mama, and I love everybody that's here and everybody that's going to be here. I love psychics and I love their opinion. I don't weigh heavily on it and the cops don't use it, but I want you to know that anything you get like that, yeah, please tell me about that. I definitely watched the Spirit Box too, and the sleuths, I forgot what they're called, the psychic sleuths. And I love when they go back after a case was solved and they hear and you hear what they had to say. Reverend Donna, I think her name is, did that with Brian Koberger, and that was amazing. She is amazing. So again, I'm not trying to go off in left field. You see that I'm showing detectives and body language experts, and Vinnie Politans, who was a lawyer before. I really want real information, but I do like that kind of stuff. Hello, Jennifer M. Good to see you. And so I want to see what she said, what Sadie's mama said, and then we'll wrap this up. It said channel box, and I do watch T-Rev too. Sometimes it gets a little too much for me, however, because it's almost like it's great for some people, but at the same time, I can't watch it too long because people tell a lot of sad stories on there, and it's almost like a session of therapy that I can't handle. I'm an empath as well, and I bring in, it's just too much for me to handle a therapy session on T-Rev. So I did see the Spirit Box one, and I started watching it, and it said he was having swallowing symptoms when he asked how she died. Let's see. I'm going to play this. I'm going to read this, and then I'm going to say bye to everybody. I can't believe it's been an hour and a half that I've been with every one of you. Listen to the channel. Okay, Spirit Box T-Rev, he was having swallowing symptoms when he asked how she died, and someone messaged in and told him Maddie was trying to tell him she couldn't breathe. Okay, there you go. So a lot of people will say, oh, that weighs nothing in on it and whatsoever means nothing, but to me, it does. to me, I hold that close when the psychics talk about it and it comes back to be true. So listen, everybody, people are saying, and there's speculation out there. We saw a sheriff that leaked the photo of her body. Now, it wasn't very graphic, but if that's out there, I bet your shorts right now that they know how she died when they initially saw her, either blunt force trauma or strangulation of some sort. So they know that it's in this area to this area and that he probably used his hands. It probably wasn't, I think they got into a fight and it wasn't something that he like premeditated and thought about. Something happened between the two, and that's how the death was caused. If we ever really find out what happened between the two, then we can come back on this. But we will get an autopsy report, and when we do get an autopsy, I will be here with you, especially when he gets charged. I'll be back with you. So thank you, Carly. I appreciate it. Thank you, Greeno. You're always editing. I've had such good feedback about my intro and my outro. Everybody loves it. Thank you, Sadie's mama and the crime peeps. Everyone have an awesome day. Carly, I'm going to message you about the Lake and Riley case, and stay for my outro that the wonderful Greeno did. His work is amazing.
Guilty of crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime.
Are you guilty of crime?